Hello everyone, this is Persephone, and today I'm going to share a BBC night flirt love story with you, which is hot tea in my opinion. And in this year, I'm going to start making videos about clients from various socials and adult socials as well. Obviously, the person's privacy is protected. I'm not going to share any identifying information, but I think it's a story worth sharing. So that happened last December. I had the lines open on Nightflare one day and I received a call from someone who started by saying, "Hi, I'm white and I'm gay, and I called you because you're also white." I'm like, okay. So, usually when someone says I'm gay, it means that they don't want to do anything sexual with me or to do phone sex or anything, and they just want to talk about something else. And the white part, I think it's the part of like race solidarity, maybe, that people think sometimes, which again, I have nothing against as long as you don't turn like full blown psycho on me and accusing other people, or when black men call me and start accusing black women and then I hang up on them and block them and drama like that. So I said, I'm all ears, like I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. And the best part is that this guy did not know who I am from YouTube. Those are the best calls because usually people who know me from YouTube and they have watched my videos usually have a specific impression and they curate what they say to me because they know that usually they want to make a good impression, which is flattering, but kind of takes away the authenticity of the experience. So this guy said that I think he was in his early 30s, and he said that until he was 29, he was exclusively dating white women. And he had a relationship with a white woman when he was 29 that was very unsatisfying. He said that they were going through like the motions and there was no passion and the sex had stopped. So they went their separate ways because you know how these relationships are. Like if you date someone for 5 years or for 6 years, it's either you get married or you break up. It's not like you can just drag it on for 20 years for most people. So after that, he was lonely and he said that he called night flirt, and then he met a dominatrix that I don't know who this woman is, and I don't know if this part is true. I'm just sharing, like, it's a he said, she said kind of story, okay? So the dominatrix told him that she thinks he's secretly gay and that he wants black men. And he said at that time he wasn't even into fandom, but he agreed that he should make an account on like Grindr, that gay app, and say that he's seeking specifically BBC men who are into BBC News. I have to start talking like that again because YouTube, being like a prude again. So he made this account, and to his surprise, he was quite popular with BBC News, and he started meeting guys for kind of like anonymous sexual encounters. And this is where I hear the first thing that when I hear it, I roll my eyes, where he said that he was meeting BBC men that, how to say this in a YouTube friendly term, he was helping the BBC News, but they weren't doing anything back to him. So these men were saying that if you're the only one who is tuned into the BBC station, but you are not receiving anything, then they aren't gay. So these men said, I just happened to meet a white guy and engaged in what is essentially race play, but I'm not gay because I'm the dominant part. When I hear things like that, I'm saying that the first thing you are is in denial, but okay, like at this point, I try to be accommodating because the person was clearly very nervous and he felt stressed. I was like, okay, so what happened after that? And he said eventually he came across a guy who was 7 years older than him, a black guy, and that black guy didn't treat him like BBC. I came, I watched the news, I left. He said, I want to talk to you on the phone first because I don't just meet random men, which was the first step towards like things being different. So the BBC guy gave his phone number to the white guy and said, call me and let's talk. So he said they ended up staying on the phone for 3 hours after that, and they had a lot of things in common. So eventually they agreed to go out, and the BBC guy invited him on some kind of like coffee date, I think. It wasn't like come to this place to watch the BBC News and then go home. So he went to that date, and then he said he liked the guy even more. So eventually they started meeting in the black guy's house. So that went on for like 2 or 3 months, and I asked this person and I said, had you discussed like boundaries or were you in a relationship? And he said, I don't know, but I also didn't think that I'm gay. So I was thinking that I'm not in a relationship with a man because I'm not gay. At this point, I'm rolling my eyes again. He can see me. It's the phone, like, okay, you're meeting a black guy in his house to watch BBC News together, but you're not gay. Fair enough. I'm not here to like define other people's sexuality for them. Here is where things get complicated. So he said it was Christmas and the black guy invited him to spend time with his family. That he said, I'm going to eat with my family and I want you to come with me. And my family knows that I'm gay, so I'm going to tell them that I'm going to bring my white boyfriend. So this guy went there and he said his family were normal people. They welcomed him, they had a good time. And I said, okay, like, how did you feel about the fact that he introduced you as his boyfriend? And he said, oh my God, always, like, honestly, it was pretty great. So at this point, I'm thinking it's very nice that I'm getting paid listening to all of this, but like, where's the band sign in the store? Like, okay, you found a BBC boyfriend, good for you. Did you call him like to brag? Because sometimes people do that, like they say, oh, mistress, I'm Sissy Alexa XOXO, and my boyfriend is the biggest BBC in town. Just wanted to tell you, bye. But this wasn't this kind of call. So I said, how are things with your BBC boyfriend now? And he said, we don't see each other. And I'm like, why? And he said, well, I come from a white family who is extremely alt-right and far-right, and I had a cousin who came out as gay, and they ostracized him and they disowned him, and he moved in a town 3 states away to be gay there. So I was like, okay, so are you in contact with that cousin now? And he's like, of course not. I ostracized him too. How can he do that and shame the family? At this point, I was thinking, like, dude, you have to be kidding me. Like, why the hypocrisy? He said, at some point, the BBC guy sat down with me and he said that he also wants to meet my family. And he can't because my family is using racial slurs and I have also been using them. So not only he is in the closet about his sexuality, but he's also in the closet about not being a racist. And then I said, what happened after that? Like, did the guy dump you? And I was thinking, as he should. And he said, no. Like, surprisingly, that BBC guy had a lot of, like, mental strength. He said that one time, before we stopped seeing each other, the BBC boyfriend came to his house unannounced to talk. And he freaked out extremely, like the white guy, saying, oh my God, people saw him coming to my house. And they said, did he try to do anything outside your house, like to hug you or to kiss you or to show in any kind of body language that you are something more than friends? And he said, no, he just rang the doorbell. So I said, there was a guy who came and he was black to ring your doorbell. That he could be there for any reason. He could be your student, he could be the repairman, he could be your work colleague, he could even be your friend. And you cause all of this drama saying everybody saw in the neighborhood. Are you in some kind of red state? He said, no. Are you friends with the neighbors? He said, no. Then, like, oh my God, who the fuck cares? And he said, after that, the BBC guy asked for some distance, and it's been like 2 or 3 weeks, and he hasn't texted him. So I said, what do you want to happen from now on? He said, what do you think I should do? I said, it depends on what you want. I said, do you realize that this guy seems very well adjusted? He described to me like tall, handsome, BBC, all of that. And if he's back on the dating apps, there are going to be so many men who want to date him. And I say this, and he starts freaking out and saying, oh my God, you can't say this to me. Oh my God, what if you already found a boyfriend? I said, well, there is a chance, but I don't think that he found a boyfriend in such a short time. I mean, if you told me that he takes his time to get to know people, maybe he's still out there trying to, I don't know, recover from this bullshit drama that you caused. Didn't say that, you know. So I said, look, I'm just going to tell you my honest opinion, okay? I said, after this happened, have you been back to dating apps? He said, yes. I said, how has it been going for you? He said he has been meeting these black men who are not gay and they just invite white men to do things with them that I'm not allowed to mention on YouTube, but when 2 men do them, they're not straight. And no one was interested in dating him. So I said, I'm going to give you advice that is going to help you. I'm not going to be nice, so brace yourself. the lightning will not strike twice. It's a miracle you found this guy relatively fast, who likes you, who wants to have a serious relationship with you, and who also has a family who doesn't treat you like with hostility. So what you have to do is you are going to pick up the phone and text that guy and ask him to meet outside to talk. And you're going to have to explain to him what happened and say that your family is racist without mentioning the part of you participating in all of that racist garbage. And then you are going to have to eventually start distancing yourself from your family and possibly reconnecting with that cousin and apologizing to him too for treating him like that. Like, look at how karma and justice works. If I was that cousin and I found out what's going on, I would be eating my popcorn from 3 states away. So he was like, oh my God, do you think he's still interested in me? I said, I think by the radio silence that you pretty much heard him, so maybe he's not over it yet, but you have to try. And he said, so it's right that I identify as gay now, right? I said, yeah, it's pretty right. Seems right to me. I mean, you're dating a man and you want to be with that man, and what holds you back is your family. So I haven't talked to this person since. He said he's going to update me and that he's going to get his BBC boyfriend back. The moral of the story is that there was a person who lived his entire life in fakeness, because I asked him and he said that he has always been gay and he was dating white women because it felt unthinkable to him to date men in their water heights where everyone thinks that white people descended from angels and they're the gods on earth and all of that stuff that I hear them and I'm like, no, it's not going to work out. If you ask me personally, and I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it because I don't care anymore. I think the white people who are white supremacists are the biggest failures among white people, because it's always, especially men, that they're unattractive. They don't have a career, like they're not athletes, they're not scientists, they don't have any money, but they have the narcissism that they desperately feel that they should be better than someone else, so they cling to whiteness, which is essentially a thing that they were born with. It's not like they even did anything to be white. So if you have absolutely nothing going for yourself and you need to somehow top from the bottom, then you become a white supremacist. Of course, I'm not going to put all of the blame in white people now. I think that luckily we live in good times where people who are not white should end up this garbage, and that you can see a 3 out of 10 white guy going to Asia and becoming a sex god and getting roles in movies and getting modeling jobs when he's a 3 out of 10, but it still happens. So I think that this person's family actively ruined him. He lived his life in fakeness, and I really hope for his sake that the BBC guy takes him back, although he doesn't deserve it. Like, if it was me, if I was talking to the BBC guy, I would say, don't take this immature guy back, but I have to be professional and help my client any way I can. And I'm just saying this because I think it's a cautionary tale for a lot of people, especially for those into feminization who postpone it forever. Like, I have so many calls and OnlyFans subscribers and people on many vids who are closeted sisters, they are into feminization, and it's always something else that has to happen first, and they're waiting for something to happen and they don't work on their feminization. And I'm asking you, like, what if this happens to you? And okay, let's expand it. Let's not make it about only BBC or feminization. I have these people who come and wail and whine and guilt trip and blackmail, mistress, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm going to die. Let's say a miracle happens and you meet a model, you meet a cam girl, you meet a Twitch streamer, you meet your celebrity crush, you meet someone, and she falls in love with you. Are you even in a position to accept that blessing? Mentally, physically, and practically? Like the guy in our story, he hadn't even sorted out himself in any way. He was actively going back to that red state, spouting racist garbage. He helped these awful people ostracize his own cousin, his own family member for being gay. He just pushed all of the dirt under the rug in the back of his mind. And when something good happened in his life, he lost it. I hope he didn't, but maybe he did. So in a similar way, you meet your celebrity crush and she wants to come to your house. Is your house looking like a crack den? Is it full of like disgusting clothes and plates that they're soon going to grow mold and maggots? Is your house, on the other hand, amazingly clean because your mommy has a key, and although you're 47, she comes to wash your boxers that she picked up herself? Even worse, are you in some dead ass marriage where you have a wife that she has no idea and now you got yourself into an affair? In many cases, people who live in such a mess will never attract anyone. Like, usually the guys that I talk to who are in the closet, nobody's ever interested in them. That's why the story is so interesting, that someone was interested in this guy. And someone that he said, older, handsome, BBC, money, good family. This is for me like, someone said I found a lottery ticket on the street and it was the winning ticket. And my family put it in the washing machine and ruined it. This is what happens. So how about you think about it this year? Maybe you need to start. I'm not going to tell you a lot of new age manifesting garbage, that especially the American version of The Secret and all that, it's like completely corrupted and false. But I'm just telling you, maybe you need to start aligning yourself a bit with what you actually want to have in your heart deep down. The first thing you need to do that doesn't cost any money is, if you're attracted to men, you're not straight. I'm not going to tell you if you're gay, if you're trans, you're going to identify yourself, but I'm not going to hear anymore that you have a penis, you do anything else that involves other people's penises, and you come to me and you say with pride, I'm not gay. I'm not like the other guys. I don't care what your race is. This guy is at least like lucky that he had worked through that. So when he told me that I'm gay, we had something to start working with. If it was one of the guys he meets that they would say, oh, I find these random guys from dating apps for anonymous sex, but I'm not gay, I hang up the phone. Or I end the conversation like, I don't have time for this. You need a psychologist to sort out your gender and your sexual orientation or whatever else you have going before you talk to me, because I can't help you. Like, this level of dysfunction, I don't try to substitute therapists. So in a similar way, if you are into BBC, because again, there are many people who are into BBC for various reasons and they contact me, you are going to have competition. Men, like the black man in our story, have options. They're not going to sit around to tolerate you being 500 kg and age 89 and being with your mom and having a baby mama or girlfriend drama and not having a job and being on welfare and using the welfare check to buy porn. No one is going to tolerate you. And even if someone gets blinded, because love can blind you, and is interested in you, soon they're going to dump you and move on to greener pastures. And in some cases, it's even worse. Because the guy in your story said that now that he got a good relationship, now he got a taste of the real thing, he's devastated. Even the random encounters that he had that they felt kind of okay, now they started to feel horrible, because he said that after I met someone who appreciated me, who wanted to talk to me, to get to know me, now I feel degraded when I have randoms who just want one thing, for me to watch the BBC News and then go home. So what if this happens to you? Honestly, it was horrible. Maybe I don't convey the story as well, but he was pretty devastated. So lesson learned for 2024, you're going to start going dumpster diving and sorting out the garbage, figuratively and literally. And good things, if they come, you're going to be ready to grab them. Because I said to this guy, if he meets someone who can see the worth of this person as a potential boyfriend, he's going to look him down. He's going to be saying, you know, I don't have a family. They died. They moved very far away. They moved to China. It's bad. I've lost contact. You want to move in together? This is how you move when it comes to BBC. Okay? Be smart. And if you say, Persephone, you're a psychopath, I'm going to tell you. Do you want me to give you politically correct advice and die alone? Or do you want to get BBC? Because we can't do both. Love and war are very similar, and we have to use dirty tactics because your competition is not going to fight fair, especially when I see the other type of cisses that they do plastic surgery, they get hormones, they're extremely disciplined. Who's going to want you? Just putting a dress on and calling yourself feminized? That's the only thing I'm going to say, and this video became a rant. A person who puts a dress on is a cross-dresser. I can call you a sissy, I can call you Tinkerbell, I can call you a robot, we can role play whatever you want. I'm a professional, but I draw a very clear line between role play and reality. So if it's role play, I can agree that you're perfectly feminized and amazing and you deserve BBC. If it's reality, I'm going to tell you, you're going to die alone at this rate. The choice is yours. There are plenty of scammers in the phantom saying if you don't like me, you can keep watching and move on.